directional. Okay, cool. We should be good. Well, no. Here, let me turn the sensitivity on it up. Okay, that should be. Yep, that's way better. Okay.
Tweet about it. Should we also post it on Tumblr?
Yeah. And our cat's losing her mind. That's awesome.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. We have our shit together, we promise.
Very serious podcasters.
Yep. Totally professional. Tid, could you please stop trying to kill whatever it is you're trying to kill right now?
What's that plastic tube she loves to play with? Yeah.
The plastic tube from Woody's poop bags?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah. She loves to play with it.
Okay, we have people here now. Hello.
Yes, we have one person here.
Yeah.
What's up? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, okay. So we're trying to get our shit together. Sorry. I was editing the finale and time got away from me a little bit.
Whoops. Every week, whatever my hair is going to do on stream is a fucking mystery.
I think your hair looks fine.
Yeah. It looks fine. It's just every time.
It's all right. I should have done a better job, getting myself pretty today. My beard is like rapidly approaching Amish levels, so we're good. Okay. So we have a couple questions about 13 that got submitted while we were live on the Q&A, and we didn't see them. Yeah. So we're gonna do those at the top, and then we got a lot of really great questions from our patrons this week about episode 14. And we will be handling those. And then at the end, we'll be opening up like a 25 minute open question period. So, Al, you want to go ahead and take these since this was for episode 13?
Yes. Was the simultaneous love and betrayal for felt one time in the past when she helped Leo escape, or is it something you can't reveal?
As the DM, I was phrasing it as that. Yeah. I don't know if you picked up on that, but yeah.
Yeah, I figured that was what you were referencing at the time.
Well, especially because we didn't have as much of like Fee's stuff developed when we recorded 13. Mm-hmm. Like her backstory stuff.
Yeah. Intentionally,
yeah. Did Ferrora get her new spells from leveling up in the proximity of the statue? Or did something else happen? That's just how sorcerers work. Sorcerers can switch out their entire spell sheet every time they level.
Yeah, every time Fee levels up, I have the ability to just decide that all of her spells are different, and I have been doing that for...
Well, not all of them.
Not all of them, but like for character development reasons, because I've talked about this before, but like my method of doing spells for sorcerers is you have two things that you can do.
Do you want me to scoot over so you're not hiding behind the mic arm? Okay, there we go.
Sorcerers have two things that they can do. Fees are get really lucky and shoot lightning, or create storms.
Make weather. Yeah. Get really lucky, make weather.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been changing the flavor on Fee's spells as she levels up and as she goes through her character arc. So her getting lightning bolt for me as a player was absolutely because of the statue, because I, as someone who is also a DM, knew some stuff about Fee's larger religious arc. And I was like, yeah, she should get lightning spells right now. Yeah.
Well, and like a lot of her early spells were like very in line with like a lot of that divine soul sorcerer spells that you like, those cleric spells that you get access to. Like she had command, and she had like a couple other things like
I believe she used to have healing word. She doesn't now.
Yeah, she used to. Well, you took that healing word because we realized that you were going into that fight to save Sabine.
Yeah.
And nobody had any heals.
Well, Sabine has heals.
Sabine had heals, but Sabine was unconscious and you didn't wake her up.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, nobody's going to be able to roll a medicine check. So on the...
Oh, yeah, that's right, because Fee's whiz is absolute ass. And Fen's isn't great.
Fee's whiz is okay. I believe... No, whiz is the one that she has negative one
she has... I was going to say she has -1 to whiz.
I got whiz and int mixed up. Yeah.
And yeah, medicine is a whiz check.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
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 So she used to have a lot more of the like highfalutin divine soul sorcerer spells, and she doesn't have those now. She shoots a lot of lightning now.
Yeah. I also tried to phrase more of her spells as like wind and as like crowd control type thunder stuff at the beginning. And that's not what I do for her spell sheet now.
She's Emperor Palpatine now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlimited power.
I was thinking about actually having us post the character sheets after season 1. Like, just post screenshots of where everybody's character sheets were in the finale. And Fee's spell sheet is
horrifying.
She does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
As is her right. But yeah, that's our questions from last week.
Okay. And then let's scroll up to the
Again, we're so sorry.
Yeah, we are so sorry if the person that asked those is watching this. We weren't checking the Patreon messages during the Q&A. If you're a patron and you want to ask a question before we go to the open question period, just be like, I'm a patron in the chat. And let us know and we'll get you. Mm-hmm. We're going on our system for that because we trust you guys. But okay, so now we're moving on to our questions about episode 14.
Yes. We have them on like 3 separate lists. Yeah. We're sorry.
Sorry, this is short notice, but I have a couple. Okay, what about the encounter with Isaac Ashthorne would have been different had Leo convinced Eleonora?
Ooh. I don't know that much would have been different with Isaac because that was going to be a combat no matter what. That was like I had planned from the beginning for that to be a combat. Just because Isaac Ashthorne has a terrible, terrible character sheet that I couldn't wait to use. Because I told you in advance that I planned on there being some form. I didn't tell Barry about any of the plot twists of season 1.
But that I was going to have to fight him.
Yeah, but that Leo was probably going to have to fight Isaac Ashthorne was something we established from like the recording of episode 2. And I just remember saying the words, "Oh, look how much damage he can do in one round. Isn't that so fun of him?
Oh, look how many hit points he has. Oh, wow." Yeah. And I was sitting there with Leo at like level 3, like, I'm going to fucking die.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to roll up Leo's long lost twin brother Theo and finish the campaign.
Yeah. Because I believe I rolled Isaac up as a level 12 paladin.
Here, I can pull it up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head what level he was. He was scary. He was the level that paladins get scary.
Oh yeah. Paladins are always scary. Yeah, he's level 13.
Level 13. Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah, Isaac Ashthorne, a level 13 Oath of Devotion paladin.
So many smites.
He had a lot of smites and 119 hit points.
Oh, God.
And 23 passive perception.
Yeah, that's a disgusting character sheet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was living in terror of this man for the entirety of Leo's early season 1 arc because I knew I was probably going to have to fight him at some point.
Yeah. I planned on that being a combat from the beginning. There were limited ways for Leo to have not ended up in combat with that man, and he didn't do any of them.
What can I say? I'm dumb and I can't play Dungeons and Dragons.
You're not dumb. It was just very difficult. But yeah, so I don't think that encounter would have been much different. What would have happened if Leo had rolled that 20 on that persuasion check was Eleonora would have gone with him and would have been around for the rest of season 1.
Yeah, because that was what the role was for. It wasn't to, do anything different with that combat. It was just that Eleonora was going to leave with him.
Yeah.
Which is the follow-up question. What is now narratively different going forward because of that missed 20? Leo had to break up with his girlfriend is what's narratively different.
Yeah. That persuasion check, it started out as a DC 30 actually, and it went down as Leonora developed. Like it started off as a completely impossible roll, and then Eleonora caught feelings.
And you said that there were like certain checkpoints where I could have done something right or something wrong that would have raised or lowered. Like Al had a really cool mechanic in place for it, where like what were all the things that I?
Oh God!
What were all the checkpoints? Because I remember that you said I hit 2 of them.
Yes,
and I remember you said Lockham, like the big trauma dump in Lockham was one of them that brought it down.
Yeah. The big trauma dump and Lockham, and just relating to her on that level was one of them. Leo's whole attitude with Warren contributed to lowering the DC. Pretty much everything that Leo did in episodes 2 and 4 were missed checkpoints, because Eleanor was like, yeah, everybody should be good and compassionate and noble, and Leo was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like the conversation that they had about like, Eleanor, what did she say? She said something about, I believe that anybody can be a hero if they set themselves to the task of it.
And he said, I don't have time to be a hero. I'm too busy trying to be an archduke. Yeah.
Yeah. And Leo blew her off. And that
was a missed checkpoint.
Yeah. That was a miss.
But also, like, that was so early in Leo's character development, it wouldn't have been realistic for him to get all noble.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like,
yeah.
Leo started out this series as a fucking abominable asshole, and is only like moderately less of an abominable asshole now. So
but that was one of the things for Eleanor that I had set up of like, okay, if you relate to her on the level that she expects you to,
it will lower the DC.
And that she would prefer, it will lower the DC.
So potentially I could have gotten it, like, I wouldn't have been playing my character, which is fine. Yeah. So like, I wouldn't have wanted to change anything, but like, potentially, I could have gotten it down to like a DC 10.
Yeah, you could have. What I had established for the DCs was that there was a certain DC that would have kept Leo and Eleanor together, and that was DC 20 when we actually got to the role. And then there was a certain DC under which things would have ended very badly.
Well, you said the worst possible outcome was like, I fucking had to kill her dad, and she died hating me. Like, not died, but hating me forever.
Yeah. That was a distinct possibility that I was very afraid of.
That's okay. Yeah, no, I want to put this on the record, like on video right now. Between episodes 13 and 14, we went a month without recording because we were so fucking scared of that one persuasion roll and the shit that could happen because of it that we just couldn't do it.
We just couldn't do it. We couldn't do it. Well, also we were trying to first set things up to come out and but also
we were very afraid.
We were so afraid. Because he rolled over a 15, that is going to impact the rest of the plot vis-a-vis Eleonora.
Don't count Eleonora off yet.
Don't count her out. But because of Leo's persuasion modifier, it was basically you have to roll a 10 for Eleonora to ever appear again.
Like, we don't want to give anybody false hope. Leonora's dead.
It was, you have to roll, it's a DC 15 for Eleonora to ever show up again. And it's a DC 20 for Leonora to stay together. And 19.
Oh, my heart.
Essentially what has happened in the plot, because he didn't make that roll, was Eleanor's not around for the rest of season 1. Like, Eleanora doesn't go with them for the rest of season 1's plot. She is not going to appear at the final battle of season 1. Yeah.
Well, because what was going to happen if I had made that roll was that we were going to go Leo cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Poly B, but it was going to be.
We were going to try.
We were going to try for Leo and Leo's boyfriend and Leo's girlfriend. We were going to try for this is my boyfriend Leo and this is Leo's boyfriend Zed.
Yeah.
But
that just didn't fucking happen.
And then it just didn't fucking happen.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Man. Episode 14.
Episode 14.
Is the place Leo saw in his dream the same place Fee was in her encounter with the goddess? It seems similar, just lacking the lighthouse. By saying it's similar in the question, you are as right as we are able to tell you are. It sure is similar.
We'll just say the environments that Leo and Fee saw in their various visions in the last couple episodes were designed very deliberately.
They sure were. Yeah.
And we can't elaborate on that, but we wanted to cover it. I also I can't speak about how you designed the space with Fee's God, but I designed the space with Kimrel very much to be a reflection of his characterization.
Yep.
If that makes sense. Also,
Yeah, and I mean, I did as well. Yeah, so like we have a lot of things that like as co-DMs we don't tell each other.
Yeah,
because like we know all the major plot beats because of the nature of the campaign and the nature of how the game has to work.
Yeah.
But we keep certain things from each other that we like pull out as like gotcha like surprises at the last moment.
We sure do.
Yeah, we sure do.
Especially in season 1 because season 1 is
because
they're primarily exposition.
Yeah, and because they're both separated for the entirety of season 1.
Yeah.
So we had more of a chance for those surprises when we're not splitting episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that we both kind of did that as reflections of, especially with both of us knowing like the metatextual cosmology and everything. Yeah, I think they're both definitely reflective of the characterizations of both deities.
Yeah. And we sure can't elaborate on that anymore without ruining the show.
Nope.
But we wanted to address it.
What are Ravain's thoughts about these events? Is he regretting coming with Leo, or is he still determined to have an adventure? Or is he outwardly determined because Leo is falling apart and he needs to not panic?
Oh boy. Ravain is having a complicated series of thoughts right now. I think Ravain expected this whole thing to be like very much out of a book, like just an epic adventure that he gets to go on and it's all fun and games.
He met the wrong fucking person for that.
Yeah, and then very quickly that idea was ripped from him. Oops, sorry, we got another question. Oh, we're going to talk about that in a second. Okay, but like very much Ravain is being disillusioned very quickly of ideas that he had about the world because he hasn't spent a lot of time out in the world. He very much still does want to experience things and wants to be out in the world and wants to get a little bit more of that experience and knowledge that he's never had. But I think the whole kidnapping thing was it
was a nasty wake-up call.
Yeah, it was a nasty wake-up call. And it was very scary in the moment. And it was like he woke up and suddenly he was in a strange place that he had never seen. He was without his emotional support familiar. He was like, it was very jarring because like Ravain expected this very storybook adventure and then was quickly introduced to the fact of reality and just the idea that things just sometimes happen just because you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, which I think
he wasn't really prepared for.
No.
Well, and like that's a really interesting narrative point because like as a writer and like as somebody who like kind of is a scholar of like Joseph Campbell and kind of the hero's journey method of storytelling, I get a lot of like Bilbo Baggins vibes from Ravain in a really big way of just like somebody that has had this existence and really wants to go off on this adventure. And then once they're in it, they're like, oh shit.
Yeah. I think it was a big shock for Ravain. And I think the idea of an adventure has kind of been soured for him, but he has made a couple of friends and that has also gotten a bit choppy, especially with Leo, because he does kind of hold Leo responsible for what happened because he would not have been in that situation if he was not Leo's friend.
Yeah. And that's true. I mean,
and there is a lot of like in future episodes, there's a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of teasing that out, but like a resolution of that with their dynamic. Like, and I think
honestly, Leo's dynamic with Ravain is one of my favorite dynamics in the show. Like that because of what they are to each other and how what they are to each other is kind of exactly what the other one needs. Yeah. At that moment.
You had discussed like before we started recording, as far as Leo's dynamics, like Leo needs someone who unconditionally likes him and supports him and even when he is at his worst,
but then challenges him. Yeah.
And like you had discussed that he needs someone who will be there for him even when he is at his worst, and that's kind of what Zed's there for. But he also needs to be called out on his bullshit. And that is very much what Ravain is there for. because, oh geez. Like, it's very much, their dynamic is very much Ravane going, okay, get your shit together. Because
and then Leo being so unused to having somebody be like, get your shit together is like, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Well, and like, that was the thing with like my name's Ravane, shut up. And Leo was just like, okay, noted. And then it never happens again.
And it never happens again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Ravane is very good at setting boundaries in their relationship.
Yeah.
That I don't think Leo is used to, because because most of his life experience has been people that either firmly cut him off and
just unequivocally think he's a horrible person and don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, and don't like allow for his needs in the relationship, or people that
enable him.
Yeah, people that enable him.
He loved Soren very much.
Yeah,
Soren was an enabler.
Yeah, and I think
he loved Kalessa very much. Kalessa was an enabler. And
I think it's very new for him and very good for him to have somebody that sets those boundaries, but is like, yeah, I don't think you're horrible. You're just kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
And I would prefer if you were not a jerk.
Like, you're kind of a dick, but I don't think you have to be. So like, maybe you should parse this out.
Yeah. I get that you're kind of a dick, but this is a stressful situation and you need to stop being a dick to me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Leo's dynamic with Ravane is like honestly one of my favorite of his dynamics in the entire series, because he's never had that experience of like a close relationship with somebody that is just straight up able to be like, no, shut up, be better. I know you can be better.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yep. Yeah. And I think it contrasts nicely with Zed, who's sitting there like, oh, I've been in this position. And I understand that people need support to get out of this kind of position psychologically.
Well, and like, I have a lot of thoughts that I'll be sharing, more along like episode 16, like after things develop a little bit more with like the whole Team Leo dynamic.
Yes.
Because that's basically all episode 16 is just like a lot of interpersonal character development for Team Leo. But I think there is something to be said for like Leo's dynamic with Zed, where it is not, it's not that Zed doesn't call him out on his bullshit, because Zed's pretty mean to him.
Yeah, but Zed calls him out on his bullshit in a very specific way.
And like, also because Zed has experience, like he said, like I have a lot of experience with hitting rock bottom.
Yeah.
And my whole thing with Leo and Zed's dynamic that I really, really love, and that I think starts kind of rearing its head in episode 14, like in that scene that they had, was just this like mutual, that's a car alarm going off on our street. Love that for us. Was just this mutual dynamic of two individuals who both as people need to be better, and at this point are trying to be better.
Yeah.
And like seeing that in each other, and also this kind of mutual agreement and mutual sentiment of, I will find that voice in your head that is telling you that you are unworthy of love or support or happiness, and I will tell it to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like that's my favorite thing about Leo and Zed's dynamic.
Leo Zed. But and I think there's a lot of, with Leo and Ravane's dynamic also, I think there's a lot of responsibility on Leo's part that factors into
because like, Ravane said it himself, he left everything he ever knew. Yeah. Because he thought that he had a shot of getting help with the problem.
Yeah.
And like after getting called on the carpet like that, like Leo definitely had this kind of like come to Jesus moment of, oh God, like I really am responsible for this person. Like, like I made an agreement with this person, and it doesn't matter how fucked up I am right now. Like I made a promise and I have to honor it. Yeah. Which is like the first step in a big overarching plot for Leo about learning about duty. Like,
Leo Valside's character arc. Fuck. I do have responsibilities to other people.
Yeah.
Fuck. I am not an island.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have more questions on that list?
Not on that list here. I have the other one. Yeah. Okay. How's Eleonora doing? Not good.
Not great. Eleanor's having a sorry, our dog's making noises. Eleanor's having a difficult time. It's very much a situation of like Eleonora is very close to her father and had a very specific idea of what she needed in the situation that she was in, and hi Chelsea, and how
my life
and how her dad was going to help her facilitate what she wanted out of that situation, and how they were going to kind of work together on it. And then he did some buck wild shit that she wasn't expecting, and yeah,
like kidnapping and drugging her boyfriend.
Yeah, and something that she really cared about and was really invested in is completely cut off from her now, and is just completely out of her life in like the space of a minute. So it's very much, I think this kind of fucked up her relationship with her dad is what I'll say about how Eleonora's doing, which is not great because there's a lot of stuff going on there that we will find out more about in late season 2
or early season 3. Yeah, it just depends on how shit plays out.
Yeah, but we'll find out more of the context of that whole thing later. But I will say this was kind of a very bad time for Eleonora Ashthorne to lose trust in her father, and also her boyfriend.
And lose her boyfriend.
And lose her boyfriend. Yeah. At the same time, Eleonora is going to have a shitty year. That's what I'm going to say about that. Eleonora is going to have a very bad year. We did get a question in the YouTube chat from one of our patrons. Can I ask if there was a lighthouse in the dream world? Because I had a theory that was the flash of light behind Leo.
You cannot ask that.
You can't ask that. No. I didn't want to not address it, but you can't ask that.
Okay, we have a couple more questions.
Yes.
What the fuck is Mia? A problem?
Oh, I thought you were going to save that for after we had gotten all the meaty questions.
Well, I mean, these can be meaty questions.
That's fair.
Why are they here? Reasons.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's a spoiler to say that Mia
works for Kimmerl. Like, they had the knife. Like,
yeah. I don't think it's a spoiler to say Mia is connected to Kimmerl in a very personal way. Here's the thing about Mia is that so much of what is actually relevant information about Mia
we don't find out for so long.
And it spoils so much of the main plot.
So basically you just have to settle for what is Mia a problem. For
For
now. Yeah.
Yeah. A problem that works for Leo's god.
Yeah.
Like oh man.
But yeah, like it's not a huge spoiler to say that they do work for Kimmerl, because how the fuck else would they have gotten that knife? Like, you know.
They sure did have Kimmerl's blade on them.
They are here to party.
They're here to party.
They're here to kiss beautiful men.
Yeah. They're here to have a good time.
They're here to kill some people.
Yeah. And if you ask them any personal questions, the answer is going to be, a lady never tells.
Yeah. God, I love Mia.
A lady never tells. Very girl boss of them.
Girl in the loosest sense.
Yeah. Girl but censored.
Yeah.
Girl boss but with the eye censored. Yeah.
Did Isaac Ashthorne know that Leo would be killed if he went back to Astraria? And if he didn't, would knowing that have changed his mind?
He did not.
Okay. No. That was something that I didn't know.
No. Because Isaac Ashthorne is a reasonable person. He did not assume. He assumed he was going to send Leo back and Leo would be. He assumed that Leo would face consequences for attempting a coup. he did not assume that consequence would be execution.
He didn't assume that Moreland Valstein would kill his own son because he's also a father and is like, were this reversed, I wouldn't kill my kid because I'm a reasonable fucking person.
Like I think, I don't know exactly what he would have assumed would have happened, but like he doesn't know much about the politics in Asturia. I think what he assumed would be that Leo would be tried and then pardoned for treason because he assumed that
Moreland Valstein cared about his kid.
Yeah.
Who the fuck would execute their own child?
Exactly.
Moreland Valstein.
Isaac didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because Isaac's a reasonable father.
Yeah.
But you know, in terms of being a reasonable person, I will say the fact that he didn't, like, he came in and he said all that shit and then didn't give Leo the chance to say his piece. Like, I feel like, but also I feel like if he had, that would have dramatically changed the course of things.
Yes, like, and here's the thing.
Woody, come on.
There was no world. There was no world in which Isaac Ashthorne did not keep Leo gagged in that room because Leo has magic that can control people's minds.
Well, but Leo didn't have his holy symbol, but Isaac doesn't necessarily. But because Tordoon is such a low magic environment, like Isaac also didn't necessarily know how that magic worked. Yeah,
like. It is a thread in season 1 that there are a lot of people that don't care what happens to Leo. They just don't want him to be where they are. And Isaac Ashthorne is one of them.
And Bob and Rosebrook is one of them.
Yeah.
Bob and Rosebrook wants Leo there if Leo's working for him. But
Bob and Rosebrook wants money. But Isaac absolutely did not assume that Leo was going to be executed. He assumed that Leo was possibly going to be locked up, possibly going to have to do community service of some sort, was going to be cushioned from the threat of execution by virtue of being the child of the guy that runs everything. Like, he assumed that was going to happen.
He assumed that Moreland Valstein doesn't want his son dead, which was mistake number 1.
Like, he assumed that the conflict there was that Leo is spoiled and wants what he wants. And that is not the case, as we know.
Yeah.
But Isaac Ashthorne is not omniscient, so he didn't know that.
So what would have changed? If he had known that? If he had known, if I send this kid back to his country, he's going to die.
That's a good fucking question. I still think he would have tried to get him out of Tordoon. Because I think he felt Leo was a threat in proximity to Isaac and his city and his daughter.
And in the south of Tordoon and in the northern Zephyr Isles, there's plenty of pirates you can pay to kidnap somebody. So I mean,
like, there were other ways to get Leo out of Tordoon, but sending him back to Asturia was the most expedient one. So it was the route that Isaac took.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he would have suffered Leo to be around him. But I think his priorities were get this kid out of my country and then make sure he faces consequences. And as a last resort, take care of the problem myself.
Yeah.
Which is why they got into that combat.
Yeah, which is, shit just rapidly escalated. And again, so much of what happens in season 1 is just people not having the time to sit down and talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that, and I feel from a rationalization standpoint, Isaac was so far past the point of I am willing to sit down and talk with this kid, after all of the shit that I've seen him do.
Yeah.
And I don't trust myself to sit down with this kid and have a conversation with him because he could do some fucked up shit to my head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing that Isaac Ashthorne has trusted for his entire life is his judgment. And sitting down and talking to Leo would have been a threat to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, not by any intention, because, you have, and that's, a weird, not a parallel, I don't want to say, because that's not the right word for it, but, a connection between Leo and Moreland is that they both have access to magic that can pretty significantly fuck with people's minds and free will.
Yeah.
And I think the kind of differentiation there, and again, like Isaac Ashthorne is not seeing this because he's like so removed from that narrative lens, is that like Leo uses it in, I would say, pretty moral ways, like to calm down Ferdinand Dawn Chaser's widow when she's having a panic attack, or
well, the thing that Isaac Ashthorne did not know about Leo is that he is fundamentally, morally, ethically opposed to messing with people in that way,
because he was abused in that way for his entire life. Yeah. Which again, like if they had ever had one honest conversation with each other, that whole plot line would have disappeared. So,
and it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
Very intentionally, it didn't happen.
Okay.
Because I had to have a plot.
Yeah. Why was Leo so ready to believe that Eleonora had betrayed him at the beginning of the episode?
Ooh, let's go.
Let's have a talk about borderline personality disorder and splitting episodes, everybody.
Content warning.
Yeah, content warning. So, like, give me like 5 minutes and then come back, because I'm going to try to keep this brief. Give me less than 5 minutes. I'll be fine. So the whole thing about splitting episodes and a whole thing about traits of people with BPD, which like I have personal experience with and which I have very intentionally written Leo to be, is that it is a very delicate tightrope walk between debilitating self-esteem issues and self-defeat and debilitating fear of abandonment. And when shit in your life breaks bad, you tend to see things in a very black and white manner.
Yeah.
And it is either I am the person to blame in all of this and everything comes down on me, or everything is out to get me and everybody's here to fuck me over and there's no one I can trust and I don't have anybody. So in that moment, Leo did not have the option to go that route of, oh, this is all my fault and this is all going to collapse on me. Because if he had gone down in that moment, everybody would have died. So he just chose to kind of externalize all that shit. And like, honestly, logically, it wasn't a reach, especially for someone especially for someone that's grown up among a lot of political intrigue. Like, it wasn't a huge reach to assume that, like, oh, fuck, I'm an idiot. Eleanor's been in on it the whole time. Yeah. Like, because shit like that absolutely has played out in Australian politics. It's played out in Leo's family, as we'll find out. Yeah. Like,
yikes.
So, yeah, it wasn't that he didn't trust Eleonora. It was that in that moment, he had the choice to either not trust Eleonora or not value his own self-preservation, which held the lives of everybody with him up.
Yeah.
Ugh. Was Leo actually... Oh, no. Hold on. Oof.
Anyway. Yikes. Leo had a bad time.
Yeah, episode 14 was a bad time for Leo. Were Leo and Eleonora actually in love? How much of it was trauma bonding? I mean, I can only speak for, like, my side of it.
Yeah.
He was stupid in love with her. He was so in love with her.
Yeah. I think Eleonora genuinely cared about Leo and was genuinely attached to him. I think it was a very brief romance and it was kind of a whirlwind, but yeah, I think it would have stayed pretty steady had that persuasion check up.
Yeah, had I not rolled 1 point on the D20 under what I needed to roll, but
it's hard to mark out those lines. I think.
Well, and like again, that's a real relationship thing too.
Yeah. I think Eleonora believed herself to be in love with Leo. But also it was a 2-month relationship and it's hard to parse that out. And it did involve a lot of trauma. Yikes. Sorry. What else we got? questions.
Well, that's not to say that relationships that brief cannot have permanent impact on your life.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Because, like, I told my wife that I loved her after less than 2 months of dating.
Yeah.
and 8 years later, we're doing great.
Yeah.
So, yes, our anniversary is on April Fool's Day. Leave me alone. But I mean, like, yeah. I think, like, a lot of that comes down to some, like, romantic love essentialism too, and like this assumption that, like, that's the pinnacle of things. Like, I think that Leo and Eleonora have had permanent effects on each other's lives. Absolutely. Like, Eleonora was the first person in Leo's life that made him want to be better.
Yeah.
And challenged him to be better, and told him that he could be better.
Yeah.
Because everybody else in his life that had any kind of position like that to him either enabled him or told him, you're not good enough and you never will be.
Yeah.
It was this kind of, like, very polarized duality of either you are perfect the way you are and you don't need to change, or
which is not helpful to tell someone who has toxic coping mechanisms.
Yeah. Yeah, like, it was either people that told him you're perfect as you are and you don't need to change, or people that told him you're irredeemable and you can't change and you're bad forever.
Yeah.
So, like, she was the first person who kind of, like, took that middle ground and was like, you need to be better, but also I think you can be.
Yeah. And that's what I was kind of going for with everybody on Team Leo to an extent.
Mia?
Not Mia.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
The main the main 3 people closest to Leo right now. That's what I was going for with Zed, Ravane, and Eleonora.
Mia was that, like, last line of, aren't you tired of being nice?
Yeah.
Don't you just want to go ape shit?
Yeah. Mia's had a lot of time to come to terms with themselves. Mia would have been different characterization-wise if you had not latched on so hard to Zed, Eleonora, and Ravane.
I do love Mia.
Yeah.
And, like, actually
I enjoy them.
Yeah, and a big part of Mia's characterization actually changed after they were introduced, because Al and I had a really cool overarching plot idea, and they worked into it so well. So.
Yes. Find out in season 3. But yeah, like, everybody except Mia was very much, because Leo's character arc was very much him learning that he needs to change and be better, but that he can do that.
And also that, like, just even as a baseline, like, fundamentally, he is deserving of love.
Yeah.
And, like...
But that also doesn't mean that he's allowed to just do whatever he wants.
No, yeah.
Like, he is deserving of love. The way that he is, even. Like, he is deserving of love now, and he will be deserving of love later. But he needs to get his shit together.
But something Princess Carolyn a la BoJack Horseman voice. You need to get your shit together. You are Laeral goddamn Valsa.
That's Leo's character. That's it. To get your shit together. Yeah.
Okay, and then this is our last one. Was Leo actually going to go off on his own at the end of the episode? What was his plan if not? That's a hard thing to parse out. I don't think, barring some, like, serious vitriol from the people that he had with him, that he would have actually run off.
Yeah.
For Leo, like he said in that big exposition scene, oh, great, more sirens. But like he said in that big exposition
scene, the city's always fucking burning now.
Yeah. But yeah, like he said in that big scene with Zed, it was more along the lines of, like, I am very aware of who I am as a person, and I'm very aware that, like, I get hurt and I take it out on other people. And it's that, like, delicate dance between the visceral fear of abandonment and the grim knowledge that you are so capable of hurting people. And like sometimes when you're in that place, self-isolation and just pulling away from everybody, it just seems like the safest thing. Because if you pull away from everybody, then nobody can leave you. And if you pull away from everybody, then you can't hurt anyone.
Yikes.
And that was like, especially after the whole shit show with Eleonora, that was where Leo was. It was like, I don't want to hurt anybody, and I don't want anybody to be able to hurt me. And he just like desperately needed that isolation and to like not have people around him that he could either hurt or be hurt by. I don't think he would have just run off into the wilderness, barring like I think if the scene with Ravane had gotten really like venomous, which I don't think it would have, because I don't think that's who Ravane is as a person. And I don't think that's who Leo is as a person. But like if that scene with Ravane had gotten like really venomous, or if like when he made the crack about Zed only being around as long as he had money, and Zed had agreed with him, then he would have been out. That would have been the fucking breaking point, and he would have been out. And I'm gonna be real with y'all, Leo would have been emotionally non-functional for the rest of the series after that. Like,
yikes.
Yeah.
And I think also the Leo Zed scene was kind of an illustration of them having very different coping mechanisms and very different responses when things go bad, because like Leo did need that self-isolation and to not be around people, and Zed was just like, fuck it. Because Zed, when he is in that situation, should not be left alone. And he's very aware of that. And I think that kind of plays out for like the rest of their dynamic, is very much them kind of using their own coping mechanisms to deal with each other's.
Well, and to help each other too. Because like Leo's rationale at that point was like, I need to fucking put my bubble up so that I can't hurt anyone or be hurt. And then like, I feel like he and Zed have this very intrinsic knowledge of each other, of like, Zed had this moment of, oh, if Leo's alone, he's gonna death spiral. And like make himself out to be so much worse than he actually is. And like, I need to be that fucking person that is sitting there telling him like, it's no, hold on. Like,
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Slow down, crazy.
Slow down. Yeah.
God. I think there is a lot to be said about Leo Zed being two deeply dysfunctional people that are just really trying to help each other out with that.
And also individually trying to be better and like supporting each other's effort. And that, it's a really complex dynamic that like develops a lot later. But
episode 16 is gonna be so good.
Oh yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks, everybody. You guys are gonna kick our asses.
Okay. Free question time, everybody in the chat.
Yep, that was our last question. So free question time.
Otherwise, we're just gonna riff. Oh man. I really am excited. I am so happy that Mia is in the podcast. I'm so happy that we've gotten to them.
They're nasty.
I love them so much.
I do love them so much. They're disgusting.
Yeah. I would make an entire show about just Mia Sandas making bad jokes. Just Mia Sandas being mean. Literally.
Why is everybody except Ravane on Team Leo mean? And then even Ravane's mean to him.
You've been friends with me for 10 years and you don't know why all the characters that I play are mean? It's because I'm a jackass, just so everybody's aware.
I mean, I'm a jackass too, and I gave you some nice characters.
but I'm a jackass in a very funny way, unilaterally, and I bring that humor to every character that I play.
Good to know that I'm an unfunny jackass.
You're funny. You are separately funny and a jackass.
There's not a Venn diagram between my funniness and my jackassery. They're just two separate circles.
God. I just think Mia's quips are just the best thing.
Can you give us any more Mia info? No, we really can't.
We can. I'm trying to think. We can probably give cryptic Mia info. They've worked for Kimrel for a while.
Yeah. They resent this.
Yeah. Not happily.
Yeah.
God. Oh, man. I'm trying to think of fun joke info that's not like coming up in the next 2 episodes.
They love clubbing.
So true. Yeah. Mia Sandis' first and only love is a nightclub.
Your Mia accent is so fun. That is all thanks to me, by the way.
Yeah.
Because yeah, you tell this story.
So what I was doing was I was doing
I can't do accents for the record.
I can't do accents very well. But I can do a southern drawl on account of reasons.
We both grew up in an area of the country that has that as a factor.
Yeah. We both grew up in areas of the country that have that as a factor, and I have family that grew up further south. My grandfather grew up mostly in like split between Delaware and North Carolina, so that's very much what I'm bringing.
You just
to the
said
accent.
North Carolina.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was trying to do character building for Mia, and I was sitting there like, because we had already like riffed on jokes about their character, and I was like, objectively, what is the funniest voice for them to have when they say all of the mean bullshit that I have joked about them saying?
And then I was over here editing, and I went, "Full moonlight magnolia, darling."
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it just stuck.
Full moonlight magnolia. So true. And he was right. That's objectively the funniest voice they could have had. I was toying between like that or like a New York accent or
well, but
like
then we
Boston.
but then we decided that Bogbulder had the like
yeah.
Well, we accidentally I meant to tell you this.
Okay.
We accidentally gave people in Gimtarm a Boston accent and not a New York accent. But it's fine. Well, Bogbulder can just be New England.
It's fine.
We have other cities that we're going to. Yeah.
The capital can be New York. I'm not good at accents. It was meant to be a New York accent.
Just wait for season 2, where like 80% of the main NPCs in season 2 have thick ass Ulster Irish accents.
Yeah,
we're working on it. We're practicing it.
Or Eastern European accent.
Or Eastern European accent. These funnies, how you say?
These funnies, how you say? Oh god. Okay, sorry. We're trying to scroll back up. What's Mia's favorite snack? Hot Cheetos.
I literally was about to say hot fries.
Yeah. Spicy. When making Kimrel being a god of death, did you have anything in mind relating to the tarot card death? Additionally, instead of just the literal death definition, because the dream scene with Kimrel and Leo gave vibes of the tarot card death.
Hi, I'm a witch. Hi, I'm a witch and a very experienced tarot card reader.
Yes.
I think Kimrel has ties to death. I think he has ties to justice. I think he has ties to the Chariot.
Yes.
If we're just talking major arcana.
Yeah. That was not the reason that Kimrel is
the way that he is. No, that is just me like being really into tarot, and like I do tarot associations with every character I come up with because I'm a witch and I do a lot of tarot.
But yeah, Kimrel is the god of death for other reasons, and we will get into what it means
in season 3.
Yeah, we'll get into stuff. But also just like Death Domain in D&D is very interesting. It's just interesting, and we wanted to play with it. But yeah, we play with the godly domains in D&D in a very
quite a bit
interesting way.
Yeah, because I mean we've pulled a lot of, and I don't feel this is a spoiler to say this because we're not like labeling anything, but we've pulled from a lot of like, again, because one of us is a practicing pagan and the other one of us was raised pagan.
Is not anymore, but
yeah. We pull from a lot of the idea that deity and divinity is shaped by the people that believe in it.
Yeah. Which is something that I still do believe. Something that plays into my current life. But it's very much the deities that we are meeting, especially Kimrel and Fee's God, are shaped by the people that worship them and are shaped by the belief that is funneled into them.
But also I feel like let's just do a comparison here. Like, let's say Fantasy High cosmology.
Yeah.
Where it was like, it was just fully that. It was like deity is just fully shaped by the people that believe in it.
Yeah.
I feel like there's more fundamental identity within the gods in our cosmology, where it's like they know what they were.
Yeah. They have their own identities and they have their own
agenda. Really.
They have their own agendas. Yeah. Kimrel absolutely, especially has his own agenda.
Oh boy. Yeah.
But like, gods in the Compelled universe have their own like core of like what they want and what.
It's more like who they are versus what they can do. Actually, I think is the words that I'm looking for. Yeah, especially with Kimrel too. Like who he is versus what he is able to do are two like very different things.
Yeah, and they are shaped by their experiences, like any other character.
Yeah,
like
because that's how mythology works. Actually,
like even we'll go into this, but like even going into Fee's God was a very different being when the statues of them were made.
Yeah,
is what I'll say. Like Fee's God in the present is not what they were when they were actively worshipped in Australia, on a large scale. And it's very interesting to play with. That is all I'll say about that. But it's very much gods are shaped by their followers, which is why Kimrel is the way he is currently. They don't necessarily agree with that.
Which is just basically both of us being like, fuck the church.
So true. So true.
Okay, we're gonna cut this off. We're gonna do any questions we don't get by what, 4:05 or 4:10?
Oh, I'll say any questions we get by the time we hit an hour, we will answer. So we got 2.5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. So if anybody hanging out has any questions, they could be funny, they could be silly, they could be serious. It doesn't really matter. You can just go ahead and put them in.
But we're having fun with the cosmology.
We're having a lot of fun with the cosmology,
and that's very much. I feel like that's going to be mostly a feature of this campaign. I feel like we can only do that once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and this is catering again to Barry's pagan ass. Like, I'm okay with going ahead and saying this like as personal information, because I don't feel like it's like too much personal information to dump. But like, Kimrel is heavily based on the Morrigan, which is like one of the deities that I work with primarily.
In ways that will
make sense way later. Yeah,
that will hit different in season 3. Oh, why would you do that to us at the Leonora roll?
I rolled a dice. I don't.
I think that was directed at me. Listen.
It could have been worse. It could have been higher. If I had fucked up more, it could have been higher.
Yeah. It could have been worse. Eleonora and Leonora staying together was always going to be
hard.
Yeah. Like Leonora was always going to be a struggle.
Ma'am.
Hi, Pitch.
Ow. She dug her claws into my leg. Ow.
I just didn't see a way to get out of the situation without it hinging on a role. You know what I mean? Like it was very everybody's yelling about Pidge. Like it was very much Eleonora had a very difficult choice to make that Leo had to roll for her to make in his favor. You know what I mean? Like it was very much.
Well, it just wasn't ever going to be an inherent choice that she would like inherently choose Leo because she's been with him for a couple months and she's known him for a couple years versus her dad. Like, I mean, like realistically,
versus her dad who did a fucked up thing, but is also her dad. Who she cares about deeply
and has a good relationship with, which like Leo can't relate to. And again, I feel like that comes back to like, I think, you know, not that I'm saying that the format that we're trying here is bad, but I think that it does have limiting factors.
Yeah.
And I think one of the limiting factors, especially when we have both of our PCs separate, is that you really only get to know NPCs through the narrative lens of the character that they're active with.
Yeah.
And, you know, Leo couldn't get to know Isaac Ashthorne in any kind of in-depth way because it was just, oh, this guy hates my guts. So, like, I don't super want to get to know his motivations that bad.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. And, like, the episode playlist was very good and painful. Thank you.
You guys have 1 minute to get questions in. Hurry, hurry, hurry.
Oh, goodness. But yeah, I very much tried to frame Isaac Ashthorne through the lens of Eleonora and through the lens of information that she was willing to share. But like, it's a limited medium. Isaac deserved a lot of things that he didn't get. He was very cool. He's a cool dude.
You guys want to give us like 4 more players? I mean.
But like, yeah, I think he was very interesting as an antagonist to flesh out. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 65. Oh no.
Oh yes.
It wasn't even just the Kimmerl dagger. It was just Barry being very good at D&D combat.
Yes. Because there is a feature that Death Clerics get, which is they can.
It's twice their cleric level. I think it's twice their cleric level plus their proficiency.
Yeah. Added damage to any melee spell attack.
Or any melee attack. Yeah.
Like,
it theoretically, like the way it's written in the PHB is that it's supposed to be done on like a longsword attack or like a mace attack.
Yeah.
But because melee is in the description of inflict wounds, you're allowed to apply that channel divinity to an inflict wound so that I get the max damage on the inflict wounds plus the channel divinity.
Yes. Kimmerl's blade has some secrets. It's got some secrets.
Yeah, Leo and Fee both get magical items in season 1 that are going to level up with them.
Yes. Yeah.
In a kind of metatextual level. Blade. Yeah, and Leo's is Kimmerl's blade.
Yeah.
Well, and Fee's is the cloak. I think that's pretty fair to say. Like, yeah, Fee's is the cloak. But
yeah. There's a reason they got them back-to-back episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, like very much we wanted those items to like level up with their character arc. There's a lot that has yet to be unlocked with those items.
For both of them,
that we'll go into. There's a reason why they are named items. It's because they have very specific capabilities and they are very plot important. Yeah. I'm so glad people liked the episode playlists, so we're very happy about them.
We work very hard on them.
Yeah.
The Kimmerl telepathy thing. It's not a cell phone to Kimmerl.
It's not a cell phone.
I feel like we need to clear that up now. The knife is not a cell phone.
Yeah.
Kimmerl would not give Leo his number.
Fuck. Yeah.
They don't have that kind of workplace relationship.
Oh my god. But
it's more like a beeper. It's more like a pager.
It did that because Kimmerl can reach out to Leo through his holy symbol. That was also something he could have done with the choker, and he chose not to. because he didn't need to.
Well, because usually he just showed up when Leo was naked in his room in the middle of the night.
Like, we have established that of, like, gods can kind of reach out to people that are sworn to them. And Kimmerl does frequently. But they can't do that unless there is an open connection, which was Leo's choker for a long time, and it's now the knife. And still theoretically.
Well, the choker still is functional as a holy symbol, because that was what he made his vow on.
Yeah.
His vow of priesthood that is not legally binding in Astraria, by the way. Like, Leo can't perform any, like, clerical duties in Astraria. Like, Leo can't legally marry people.
I was about to say Leo can't officiate a marriage.
Yeah.
God. Oh, man. We are going to be wrapping up in the next couple minutes, guys. But yeah. Kimmerl is a very present god. It's just sort of what I was trying to imply with a lot of Kimmerl's appearances.
Which is really weird because, like, within the structure of the church, he's actually very absent.
I think the only person in the church that has seen him is Sid.
I think a couple, like, higher ranking,
people that are
Kimmerl,
just
like,
below the Hierophant. That's pretty much it.
Kimmerl likes to pick out shitty little nasty men.
Because he is.
Because he is one.
Yeah. Because he's a shitty little dude.
I
say little. He's.
We say little. He's like 8 feet tall. But I would say that, like, the only two people that are, like, death clerics that are Astrarian that work for Kimmerl.
Yeah. That are in contact with him frequently.
Well, okay, but
like, death clerics that work for him that are in contact with him.
Death clerics that work for him that are in contact with him. Are Sid and Leo.
I don't think he's willingly in contact with Sid.
No, Sid's too mean to him.
Sid bullies him.
Oh, what are you gonna do? Rattle your bones at me?
15-year-olds are so scary.
Oh, look at that skeleton. He's got feminine hips.
No!
That's the thing.
It's the John Mulaney bit. Yeah. Exactly.
That's the thing I'm sensitive about.
Exactly. Yeah. 15-year-olds are so scary. Oh, man. But the level of contact that Leo has with Kimmerl is unprecedented for followers of Kimmerl, is what I will say about that. But also, I think Kimmerl does enjoy Sid. He just doesn't like to talk to him because Sid is mean.
Sid's mean. Yeah.
He's just a mean little teenager. Oh, man. Okay, we're gonna wrap up.
Yeah, this was fun, you guys.
Fun.
Anybody that's watching that's a patron, please, like, I know that we've changed our format lately. We're taking priority submissions for questions through our inbox on Patreon now. So if you're a patron, just go to Patreon, get in your inbox, send us a message with any questions you have after next week.
Because, oh boy.
Or rather, in 3 days.
Yes.
Because episode 15 is in 3 days. So, and I feel like a lot of you are going to have questions after episode 15.
There's a lot that happens just for every episode for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Season 1.
So if you're a patron and you're watching and you want to have your questions featured in the Q&A, just immediately go to Patreon after you listen. Just send us.
Not immediately.
Well, not immediately. But
at any time.
At any time before Monday after you listen. And send us your questions, and then we'll do those for the Q&A.
Yeah.
So I get that this is a different format than it used to be, but...
And also, like, everybody that's not a patron that has questions, just in the YouTube chat. I can't fucking talk.
Well, I mean, I would wait until we, like, open up the open question period. But because we always want to do, like, a half-hour question period at the end.
Yeah.
But
we have fun here.
This was fun.
It was a good time. We will see you guys next week. hope you enjoy episode 15.
Good luck. Oh, good luck.
Good luck,
Oh,
children.
goodbye.
Goodbye.